I heard some ABS going off. I think you have a cheater car here, having the
Hey,
ABS still
it's
there.
sold from the factory with ABS, buddy. You can buy
Gonna have
it and
to.
put it on your car tomorrow. It might take
I
a
think we're
little
gonna have to go
longer, but
snip some sensors here.
oh no, 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 no.
Well, welcome back to the LMC Podcast. This is our second ever podcast, and it was good to see the reception from the first one. Got a couple shout outs at the event. I'm Mike Wyban, and I'm joined by Brian Nels.
Hello there.
So we had an event this past weekend
We sure
uh,
did.
at the IX Center with the Any Ohio group. Uh, Fast track, long track. It's very good.
Really good turnout. I think total it was like something around 90 drivers, and 40 of those were LMC folk.
The event was, yeah, as said at the IX Center, real long, real fast. Um, I
Some gravelly
did
spots.
okay. Definitely some gravelly spots. Definitely a lot of spots where just push it a little too hard and you go spin around. think
Yeah,
think most
you
of
got
us
to make sure
enjoyed one
you're
of those spins.
yeah, you got to make sure your shocks are set right, or else you're going around the course and you're like bumping up and down, man. It's crazy,
Yeah,
but it's
you
a
were
blast.
running very stiff, right? The,
I
the, the
was,
shocks at a
yeah,
very high setting.
yeah. I when I was telling Jonathan about how or where my shocks were set, he was like, "Man, I've never ran them that high before." I was just kind of I'm new to the silvers this year, so I was kind of tinkering around with uh, how it felt, and I was just making changes, and the car felt responsive, so I ran it, sent it.
Yeah, I forgot to change my shocks from the street setting for my first run.
Oh,
But honestly, not bad. I actually only went up like 3 clicks front and rear
hmm.
from the street setting in the morning, and it felt really good. Um, then when I heard your shock settings, I was like, let me see what the top end's like. So I went way stiffer. Um, I will say the stability of the car felt better, but I felt like
Okay,
I had less grip overall.
that kind of
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, if you're not going to get that weight transfer being thrown around, but you're also not going to be able to use that weight transfer to load up the tires properly and get the
Hmm.
traction.
And also, driving over bumps or whatever, the shock is going to be a lot stiffer than I guess it would be on the softer settings. So it's not going to be able to follow the pavement as easily because it's so resistant to change in motion.
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially end up with some packing where you're going to end up losing some of the travel, so you might end up on the bump stops more easily,
I know there was.
or
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, or you can end up not yeah the shock doesn't return quickly enough, and you lose actual contact with the ground, and that's
Hmm.
one of the ways to lose traction. But I don't think I was doing that as it still felt stable. And usually with that, you start feeling more skiddy. And it didn't feel necessarily skittish, but less traction.
I was feeling a little slippery around the track, but I kind of liked it because I was able to kind of flick the car into a corner. Um, and I was able to get the thing to rotate. Whereas before, when I had the rears a little softer, I mean the car was just so planted in the back it wouldn't want to rotate as easily around the corners. I do recall a couple times where um, I would be a tight 180 on the back end of the course, and I hit a bump, and I did feel the car kind of skip across, and I was like, "Oh, that's different."
Yeah, there was, and then actually the follow through back after the long 180 after the slalom. That
Hmm.
follow through back, that was super rough. So that
Yeah.
one, definitely the settings did change the feel there. Like in the morning, it actually felt like I was bottoming maybe a little bit too much, but in the
Hmm.
afternoon, the super firm felt not as great. But the softening it up, I think I softened it up like another 6 turns or 6 clicks, and that did wonders. Um, that's where I ended up getting my best time was in the afternoon. So
Nice. So what time did you end up with?
my fastest time was a 62 65, and your fastest was a 60.823. And
Hauling.
looking at your raw results of all your runs, I mean, you're pretty tightly in there. Like, I guess your worst run was a 63, but that's because you had a cone. But oh no,
Yeah.
never mind. Your worst
No, it
run
was
was
a
4 because
64.
you had 2 cones.
It's basically a 65. It's pretty much at the tail end of a 64. Yeah, I was trying to push. uh, So I had done my morning runs, and I had done pretty good with my morning runs. And I was like, all right, time to keep pushing. And when it came to it's not typical for me, at least in the past, to be hitting a bunch of cones. But I guess in the afternoon, man, I was just pushing so much. I started tagging cones, and I was getting real nervous towards the end because some of the guys started to catch up. Andrew and Jonathan, they were catching up, and I was like, oh boy, uh, this is getting a little close for comfort. Um,
Yeah,
I was able to
Andrew's.
pull out a 60.71, but I hit a cone, and uh, it was the cone. It was the basically the pointer cone at the beginning of the slalom that was lie down, and I came around the corner and I slid out too wide and I just tagged that cone. And I was talking to Jonathan, and we think that's probably I don't. He says that's what gained a tenth. I don't know. I'd like to go back at the video and kind of compare and see, because we were looking. Jonathan can pull up the video. He can overlay it. We were looking at the video, and there were some spots where I was braking too much and he would catch up, and then there were other spots where I got a really good launch, and then I built up a lead, but then he caught back up. So it's really crazy watching the video and seeing kind of what things you could have done differently, and where other people took advantage of the course and you didn't. You left stuff on the table.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely got to take a look at the segments of the course, because from what I've looked at and comparison video so far is I basically lost my entire time to Joe in the first 2 boxes. I was a second back on
Really?
Joe in the first 2 boxes, and then the rest of the time was right there with them.
Hmm.
So I never got the right angle in on those. I started watching Andrew's runs through there, and I was like, yeah, I was taking him a lot tighter than he was. He was definitely squaring up better for the exits than I was. So definitely got to work on that aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I did notice watching the video of me and Andrew, it was pretty interesting. We were like neck and neck throughout the whole course. And then right at the end, we both kind of drifted or whatever around the right hander after I guess the six packs or whatever you want to call them. Um, and he just drifted a little worse than I did. And that's what lost him the like what 50 thousandths of a second, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he also had a slight slide on the entrance to the first box as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think between those two, it was just enough to lose out. You got to watch out. He's going to be
I
right
know,
there.
man. he's dangerous this year. I'll say that. Last year, he was on the 205 Bridgestone, and I think he was running a little less, or maybe not less aggressive, but a different alignment. And this year, that car is dialed, man. I drove it at the low key event a couple weeks ago, and man, dude, it just felt so good. Like it feels so balanced. Like it didn't feel like either end of the car wanted to step out. It just wanted to glide through that corner, man, and it felt great.
Yeah.
How does your
I
car
mean,
feel? How does your car feel? You
oh,
made a bunch of
car
changes to it.
feels so much better. It
Yeah.
feels incredible. I will say that last year, if I was running the same track or same course with the old suspension, I would
Mm,
have been so much farther off. Um, just some of the fast transitions, I would not have trusted the car to hold.
yeah,
But this year, like it just so dialed, felt great. I had a co-driver, it was
that's
a buddy of
right.
mine, CJ. First ever event, he finished what less than a second off of me.
That is
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
CJ Kaufman,
CJ Kaufman. Yeah, so less than a second off me. He finished in what was that?
pretty darn good
11.
actually.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, right there, like dead on
Bro's
with
got
Lisa.
some natural talent.
Yeah, they say people who do well on two wheels can tend to do pretty well on four wheels, and he's always been a motorcyclist. So,
Interesting.
looking at the different times and everybody times overall, we definitely had some people moving up quite a lot. Uh, Kurt, Colin, especially, he had a big jump. Um, Forrest Walsh, he moved up quite a bit. He was a little bit further off of his co-driver Sean um, last year, but this year they're very close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, overall, I don't know if it was just this course kind of kept everybody's times really close together, or if everybody's just really dialing it in and improving greatly. Because I mean, first through 20th was 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds.
And that's a 60 plus second course. Like
Yeah,
if you shorten down that course to like a more typical 30, maybe 40-second course, like that's close. That's
yeah.
really close.
I mean, the crazier one is first through fifth, less than half a second.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. On
And
a
then,
60-second course.
yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you're talking a quarter of a second, 3/10, on a normal
Oh,
course. Yeah,
yeah.
you're going to have to be fighting real hard for all your wins here.
Oh, yeah. It's yeah, we got to roll with the punches, buddy.
Oh, yeah. But I'm definitely excited to see how this goes. I mean, like, it seems like more than just the top five. We're going to have good racing, good fights. Like 10 through 20s within a second, 6 through 9s within a second of each other. Like these
Mhm.
are these are some close times for a big course. So um, I'm
Yeah,
excited
and
to
they're
see where everybody starts falling into place after this. So
the next guy is always within reach, like no matter where you are on the chart. It's crazy. Like there's no more yeah, the all the way throughout the field, the next guy always is within reach and there's something you could be doing out there. You know, I really give props to some of the folks who were there that were asking for ride-alongs, asking for tips. Like we're there to help, people enjoy themselves and feel free to ask anybody really for some tips. Like with driving around corners. I know I had a long conversation with Jim Holly. Um, he drives a red NA, and he was let's see where he started off. What was his first time? His first time of the day was a 73 flat. Um, and he pretty much did that consistently for the morning. He dropped down to a 72.428 at the end of the morning. And then the afternoon, we had a talk over the lunch break, and I was describing corners and what I'm doing, and we were talking about. He was asking a bunch of questions, and at the end of the day, he comes up to me and he's like, "Thank you so much, bro. I got into the 60s. He finished with the 69.202 at the end of the day, which is that's like 4 seconds dropped off the time. So
Yeah,
that's
that's always
totally awesome.
amazing.
So yeah, props to those who are going out asking for help.
Oh, and actually looking at it, it looks like Tim Staggs also managed to cut quite a lot of time by the afternoon.
Yeah, I wonder what those two DNFs look like.
Yeah,
Wonder. I know he said I think he might have spun a couple times. That might have been it. Uh, it's always funny to see him go out there, because he's pushing the limit, man. He's flying.
yeah, yeah. I know. I had a couple spins. You can see I have a 70 and a 74. The 74, I actually stalled it. I was embarrassed. Didn't
Oh
get the
yeah.
caution.
Uh,
But the 70 was a full 180, came to a stop, kept going. So at least I know I'm moving.
right.
But yeah, now if I can get that, if I could have gotten that first section buttoned up, I mean, I would have been in the 61s. I would have,
Yeah.
I would have been, yeah. I think I would
So
have
what
been
do you
right
think you did
there,
wrong?
real close. I think cone fixation. I think I was coming in too early, not 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 taking the right angle into the cones.
You were jumping for the apex. Is that what you're
Yep,
saying? Okay.
yep,
Yeah, those were two. I'll call them chicanes. Those first two, and then the next. Those were all late apex corners
yep.
for the most part. So it was. That's definitely. Yeah.
Now, I did notice in yours, you shifted to second late. Do you think that actually saved you time?
Not at all. That was the run. Ryan Heiler had been leaving it in first for that whole section. I was like, screw it, I'll give it a try. So I went out there and I gave it a try, and weirdly enough, it ended up being my fastest run. But later in the day, I definitely felt like I was going way faster through there, shifting into second earlier. But funny enough, it just happened to be the one run that got posted all over the place. Was a try something new run.
Yeah, and I will say I have a unique advantage also doing photography because I was out on course. Heard you coming into the last fast sweeper to the left prior to the finish.
Hmm.
And that braking zone there, I heard some ABS going off. I think you have a cheater car here, having the
Hey,
ABS still
it's
there.
sold from the factory with ABS, buddy. You can buy
Gonna have
it
to.
and put it on your car tomorrow. It might take
I
a
think we're
little
gonna have to go
longer, but
snip some sensors here.
oh no 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 no! You got to go snip all the sensors of the other folks who got ABS too. That's the case.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely had a couple lockups. It's
Oh my gosh, it
hard
was
to get used to
hilarious.
these hawk
Driving around the
pads.
driving around the course, man. The amount of black patches that I had to use as braking references.
Yeah, they definitely built up pretty good there.
You could probably go to the. I wonder what it would be like to just be some random person and show up in the parking lot and just see a black patch and then look across the parking lot. Oh, there's another one. I wonder what they're doing here.
Well,
Oh
and
my
it's funny
goodness.
because for the most part, it was only like one tire that was locking up because there's always everybody on the turn in a little bit.
Uh
So
huh.
they lighten up
Yeah.
that front, inside front, and just lock it up.
It's kind of cool though to have those marks because it makes it feel a little more like a racetrack. Like
Definitely.
I know whenever we're at East Lake, like people are freaking slamming on their brakes and they're always leaving, skid marks. But it's kind of fun because it makes the whole thing look. I don't know. It changes the experience of just driving around in a parking lot.
Oh yeah, definitely fun seeing the little pops of smoke off of everybody's
Yeah,
tires
yeah.
when they lock them up going
Speaking
into
of
it.
pops to smoke, outside of the LMC group, Mike and Nisa, they drive a Volkswagen. I really hope they figured out what's going on with their car, but that thing, I remember I was standing off. I was on a I was doing something. I wasn't on course. And I look over on course and I see a huge puff of white smoke and I'm like, "Oh no. That looks like oil." Well, it had a bluish tinge to it. If it was white it probably would be coolant. It had a blue
Yeah,
tinge to it and I was like,
I,
"Uh-oh. That's not good."
yeah. I thought I'd overheard something about an EGR issue, um,
Interesting.
and needing to get a catch can. So perhaps it has something to do
Hmm.
with that. But
I
um,
wouldn't know. I
it
don't
was
own a
just
Volkswagen.
yeah. They I talked. So my wife has a Volkswagen Tiguan, and when I was at the dealer, I was like, "Yeah, I gotta have to add a quart every oil change." Like that seems like a lot. They're like, "Oh, it's we can go 3 quarts per oil change, and that's normal." Like that seems
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I
I
I
mean, they're
saw
10,000
something.
mile oil changes, but still.
I saw something where I think it's like Honda or something. They say it's okay to burn a quart every 1,000 miles.
Jeez.
It's like what, dude? If it's burning a quart every 1,000 miles, you got different issues.
Yeah, I mean that's the crazy one is like I had that Ford Focus, and even after track days and everything else like that, I never once burnt any oil. You
Mm.
know, never had to add oil. It was always perfect. Miata's so far doing pretty well. I mean, other than the when I first got it, it had a bit of a weepy valve cover gasket, but
Mm.
that's been taken care of.
How many miles are on your car?
Uh, Almost 101,000. It's like I think it's like at 100,800 right now.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
It's getting there.
I hit 110 on my way home. So
Okay,
I bought it with 97,000 miles. So I've driven that car already over 10,000 miles, which is pretty crazy.
that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I got mine with 90,000, so
Hmm.
I'm right at about 10,000 as well. Though Joe Murphy actually put the first like 400, 500 miles on it because he drove it up from South Carolina for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Joe Murphy was doing really good. What did Joe place? Joe placed 61 254. Oh, what were our previous predictions compared to what actually happened? Do we know that information?
so um, mine were almost dead on, except for the order. The order was a little bit messed up
I think that's how mine were too. I
because
I,
I
I don't
had
think I gave an order when I did mine.
you didn't give an order, but yeah, I had Jonathan, you, Joe, think Andrew, Ryan Hiller, and it ended up being
Ah,
you, Andrew, Jonathan, Joe, Ryan McDonald.
you were close. You just missed the last name.
Yeah, I had a Ryan, just not the right one. But yeah, I mean, looking at the times, I am certainly within spin distance of Charles and Ryan Hiller, so or Heiler.
Hmm.
So I definitely can make some moves. But
Yeah,
also looking at the times, I mean, geez, everyone back to 26. So Bill O'Brien, Kirk, Brian, James, all of them are all in that 64 range. So
Mm-hmm.
easily get the right run could have been moved up 5-10 spots.
Quite a lot of places. Yeah, that's pretty
It,
crazy.
it, it wouldn't take too much. So
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love seeing this tight grouping. It means every spot you get is actually really, really validating. So,
Yeah. So what are our predictions for the next race at MBR?
ooh, MBR.
The
Hmm.
track's a little different.
It is definitely different.
Very different actually. It's the most unique venue we go to, in my opinion.
It definitely
At
is.
least driving surface wise. I think pit race is atmosphere the uh, most unique. It's got the most unique atmosphere.
So I will say, pit race is the place I get along with the least. That
Interesting.
that surface has no grip,
Yes. Yeah.
and
So yeah.
it always catches me off guard. I don't have as much feedback as I'm looking for, and it. I never quite like you have to be perfectly into the, or you have to have your perfect cornering speed, because otherwise it is like a lot of sliding.
Yeah. We definitely noticed that at the low key event. Jonathan was very concerned. I might have talked about this on the last one. Jonathan was very concerned because of how loose his car was with the new setup. And then we get to the IX Center and he's like, "Oh yeah, it feels a lot better because there's
Yep.
actually grip."
Yeah, the IX
So,
Center I think is probably the IX and Misery Bay are probably the two grippiest locations.
mhm.
Um, the
East Lake, you don't
captain,
notice it as much because of how how low speed it is.
yes,
Pit race is definitely it. It gets you can get some higher speeds at pit, but then you run into the grip issue. So
that's for sure.
that surface is just like super smooth, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's such a smooth. I mean, I think it's probably well, and I guess Misery Bay gets some of this too, where like the drifting, they use that as a
Hmm.
drift pad out there, and Misery Bay also has the drift pad. So if you're on those drifting lines, depending upon what the weather's been between when those events happen and
Hmm.
the actual autocross, that can be very slick as well. So
Hmm.
it just polishes that surface. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, Misery Bay, that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I'm still putting you and Jonathan and probably Andrew up at the top. Uh, you know what? I'm going to give Andrew the lead over you.
Oh man.
Um, and then ooh, I think Jonathan's going to be hurting. So I'm gonna just it's going to result in you winning here. But so I'm going to go Andrew, Jonathan, you.
Ooh.
Ooh, uh, Ryan McDonald if he's going.
Okay. I do want to say I will have a co-driver at this event, and it is Sam Mailer,
Oh,
who is a
oh,
Misery
he's
Bay
fast.
veteran.
Ooh,
Last year when we ran at Misery Bay, me and Sam were both 1-2 till the last run of the event.
that's right. He is very. I didn't know you were running with him. Okay, that does change
Mm.
things. He's got to be up there. I'll okay. I'll throw him fourth and Ryan fifth. Ryan McDonald
All right,
fifth.
Ryan
Um,
McDonald fifth. Okay, I don't know if I cannot say that I remember. I could be totally wrong. I don't really remember Ryan McDonald running at Misery Bay before.
I don't know if he's ever been there, but I think the NCs are a little bit softer, so I think they handle those transitions between
The banking.
between the banking and the infield a lot
Hmm.
better. I think the real stiff cars. I think that's well in the past when Joe was running basically on bump stops. Why he always had a lot of trouble there. I think that's also why Ryan Heiler has had trouble there. He runs his car real low, so I think those
Yeah.
transitions can really affect stiff setups and low cars. So,
Yeah, definitely.
um,
Um,
I mean, Charles still has some room for improvement, but you know what? I gotta, I gotta beat him. I'm going to beat him
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
I have to do it. It's got to happen at some point.
Oh man.
It can
Oh
only
man.
happen while he's still learning a car.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely trying to figure it out at the IX Center. Um, I gave him some tips when we were at East Lake in the wet. Granted, this is in the wet, so things change a lot. Um, with rolling in on the throttle. He was actually talking with Ryan McDonald about throttle input and stuff like that, and trying to learn a little more about the chassis and how it drives because it does drive like a different car.
Yeah. Do those have electronic throttle bodies?
I should know this. I think
He
it
has
is
a
drive by. I think it is drive by wire.
he has an
Yes.
NC2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
those are drive by wire. Yes.
yeah. So I mean,
Um,
it also may just not want to do exactly what he wants it to do. He's so used to drive by cable, that going to a
yeah.
drive by wire, they usually tune in a lot more dead range. So
Interesting.
Um, so your first 50% is only going to control quarter of your throttle, but the last 50% controls 75% of it. So
Hmm.
that's usually the way they set the drive-by wires up. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That'll be it might take him a couple times, but I have faith he's going to figure that thing out and
Mm-hmm.
become very fast again.
Oh yeah. Uh, my predictions. I am going to. I'm gonna put myself in first. Surprise!
Okay,
Not to
Lando.
anybody. Um, and then I think Andrew's gonna get second. I'm gonna play Sam in third, because he's just
Ooh.
driven that track so many times. I think Jonathan's gonna get fifth, or sorry, fourth. Jonathan's gonna get fourth, and I'm gonna put Joe Murphy in fifth.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
that's reasonable. It's very reasonable. I think. I mean, I don't think Jonathan's going to be very happy with your prediction, but I don't. We'll see how that goes.
I I hope I'm allowed at work tomorrow.
if, if you guys were abundantly staffed, maybe not, but
Right,
I think
yeah.
right now you're safe.
Uh, all right. It's all in good fun. It's all good
Oh
fun.
yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been the LMC
All right.
podcast.
So we got some criticism that we just ended the podcast last time. We gotta I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we gotta kind of flow into it. But we just been talking about random stuff, so
It's what we do.
I guess it is what we do.
We're
I guess do your thing then.